Hello, everybody, and welcome to another One Stop Wrestling podcast. I'm Alex, and once again, I'm joined by Rohit and Alfonso. Rohit, how are you this evening?
I'm good, not too bad. How are you? How are
Ve-
you?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, we're just waiting on Alfonso. He may have to leave us early, but we're going to have some fun regardless.
hmm
So, the topic for this week is some of the more ridiculous, crazy storylines that have happened in wrestling. We've seen some great storylines in wrestling. Think about Daniel Bryan's road to WrestleMania 30 or Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker's two WrestleMania matches, Bully Ray and the Aces and Eights in TNA. But
Ooh,
we're not going to be
controversial
talking
that
about.
one.
Hey,
Controversial that one. I enjoyed
uh,
it, but other people not so much.
maybe.
I enjoyed it personally, so
So did I. I thought it was great. But
yeah.
yeah, we're not going to talk about those today. We are going to talk about some of the probably the other end of the spectrum, the ridiculous, crazy, maybe even shockingly bad storylines in wrestling that have occurred. So we'll dive straight into it. We'll start with you, Rohit. What is the craziest storyline in wrestling, in your opinion?
I mean, crazy can be bad, but can also be fun and wacky. So it just depends on your perspective. Now, it is a storyline, but it's a little bit of a twist because this is something that I find amazing and crazy and fun. But it's basically based around a championship, and it's from this Japanese promotion called DDT Pro Wrestling, and it's the Iron Man Heavy Metal Weight Championship. And basically, it's was originally a parody of the WWE Hardcore Championship, and like it has a 24/7 rule. But unlike it, literally it has no restrictions. So like if you're a guy, if you're a girl, if you're an animal, if you're an inanimate object, you could win the title as long as there's a
What?
referee. Yes. Recent example, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Hiromu Takahashi at the time, I think this was around September, October last year, won the belt, right? And when he made a successful defense, because obviously after the match he was exhausted, the referee put his IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship on his shoulders while he was lying on the floor. And then as he did that, he counted the three. So the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship became the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Champion.
What the hell?
Yes. And
It's
then
all I've got to say about that.
exactly. And then just after, a few minutes later, his opponent pinned the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship belt, the physical belt, to win the Iron Metalweight Championship back. And that's just one
See,
example. We've had ladders win it, we've had politicians win it, we've had random people on the streets win it.
Even
And
YouTubers have won it.
yeah, a lot of people, like, if I go down the lineage of the belt, just give me a second. There's
It's like
been 1,611 different reigns.
what the hell?
I think that's the
Yes.
best title. That's the best title in whole wrestling, to be
If you
honest.
want to just see some wacky clips, some funny things, like they post tile changes like in on social media. Some tile changes are less than a day. Some are like a
Less
few
than an
days. Some are
hour.
long. It's crazy, and some of the stories are just so fun, and some of the interactions. It's just
See,
great. It's just crazy. Some people may
we
not like it, but I think it's hilarious.
we said crazy and ridiculous, and can you get any crazier and more ridiculous than that from Rohit? I mean, so anything can win it. So a spoon,
Anything. Yes.
Anything.
a nail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if I go through some of the list, obviously I mentioned the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship belt, won the title.
No, that was
Yellow
the best
iPhone
one. That was the
14.
best one.
a yellow iPhone 14 won it in Las Vegas, apparently. Well, who did he beat? Let's see. Apparently, Hiromu Takahashi was sleeping while holding his phone, and his shoulders was down, and there happened to be a referee there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Obviously, a lot of great wrestlers from inside DDT and outside, obviously, have won it. Like Kip Sabian has won it, Penelope Ford has won it. That's just and so many. Like there's a ladder that has won it.
Is
And
the best title. Is the best
Apple
title
has
ever.
won it, believe it or not.
Rohit, you've blown my mind with
So,
this.
if you ever bored, just have a just YouTube DDT Pro. DDT Pro do some wacky fun shit. They do some serious stuff. They do some death matches too, but they have a lot of great variety. And it's just comedy gold, really. Sometimes.
This is like taking the hardcore 24/7 title to a whole other level, like you said.
Yeah, basically. And I think currently the person who has the most reigns is on 35 different reigns. If
Jesus
I'm correct.
Christ.
So, yeah.
I have never ever heard of that, but my goodness, you talk about ridiculous and crazy. I mean, that pretty much personifies it, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it may not be exactly 100% storyline specific, but I had to get that on here, really.
Wow. Well, there you go, everybody. We weren't lying when we said crazy and wacky and ridiculous stories in wrestling. Right. Let's see if either of us can top that one, Rohit. Alfonso, we'll come to you. What is the most ridiculous, crazy storyline that you think has happened in the world of wrestling?
For me, it was a big trouble, because I was thinking about everything that's going on with Vince McMahon, and I was thinking about Natalia's farts, and that's
Oh
one of the
God.
craziest storylines ever. But then when you see the lawsuit and you see that the guy like to be defecated on his chest, so maybe it was like a fetish or something like that for him. So that just make my skin crawl, and and I'm not
Yeah.
sure anymore if any
Yeah.
of WWE crazy storylines are even that crazy, because maybe it's just Vince McMahon being a fucking weirdo.
I think you're probably right. There's a whole
Yeah.
load you could reel off, isn't there? Piggy James comes to
Exactly.
mind.
Yeah. So I just went for a kindish normal one, and is the Lockbox with Shane McMahon and Undertaker. We don't know what's inside the box. We never knew what was going to be inside the box or anything like that. So really, I'm
We're
not
never
sure
ever
what
going
was
to
going
find
on.
out. We're never ever going to find out what's in that lockbox.
And I think we are experiencing some troubles tonight, because I got out of the call like 2 times, and now Rohit is out of the call. Maybe there's some shenanigans going on.
Maybe it's that nefarious one-stop wrestling general manager. Hopefully, Rohit will join us. But carry on with yours, Alfonso. I remember that one well. That was when Shane came back in 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the other one that really pops in my mind, I think, is the Katie Big story. But again, is really I'm not sure again if it was really just a storyline or just a fetish from a guy. It's like all the incest storylines and Snitsky kicking a baby and things like that. I'm not sure anymore, about WWE storylines. It's very weird.
Well, it's actually quite funny that you've mentioned those, because that's a good segue into my one, which happened to actually be Katie Vick.
Yeah, the weirdest one ever.
It has to be. It has to be the most egregious thing WWE have ever done on TV. And like you said, when you think about some of these storylines, you think about, and with everything we know now about Vince McMahon, you're thinking he was some kind of just weird pervert. Because, yeah, I mean, for everybody that doesn't know, Katie Vick storyline was with Triple H and Kane in 2002. And it essentially revolved around
Necrophilia.
necrophilia.
Oh, can you
Yeah.
guys hear me, by the way?
Yeah, you're back, Rohit. We can hear you.
I was still in the recording and everything was working. But okay. But
It
yeah.
happened. It
So
happened the same for me. I think it's that GM guy that is just
it,
messing with us.
Oh,
it is the One
he's
Stop Wrestling
messing.
Anonymous GM.
Okay.
But you've joined us at a good time, Rohit, because we're talking about Katie Vick. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, I just heard the end. I remember that barely.
Yeah. So the story was that Kane drunk drove his car when he was younger and killed this woman called Katie Vick. And Triple H insinuated that Kane made love to her dead body, which is, exactly what you should do for a world championship feud, isn't it? Bring up necrophilia.
That was
And
so odd.
Triple H acting out what had happened whilst wearing a Kane mask. I mean, it really is ridiculous, isn't it? Like, it's quite disgusting, really. Like, what were they thinking putting that on television?
Yeah.
Alfonso also mentioned Snitsky, which was another one on my short list.
It was,
And
yeah.
also,
Snitsky had
I
some pretty
remember
good
that
stuff.
one of the craziest one was also when JBL was attacking people at El Paso. You know,
Eddie Guerrero's mum.
yeah, that one
Yes.
in the Mexican border, I think.
She
And
had
Oh,
a kayfabe heart attack, didn't she?
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Oh, another one which I'm not sure many people are familiar with was from TNA. It was a Goldust, aka Dustin Rhodes. Yeah, when he was in a bit of a
Yes.
like, I guess in personal life he wasn't really fully aware, I guess, or had some other troubles. But I didn't think it was that bad, but it wasn't great. Like the idea was cool, like a dark alter ego of Goldust, but I think the execution wasn't great.
I vaguely remember that one, yeah, and that was quite controversial, yeah.
Yeah.
um, another one that I had on my shortlist was Al Snow and his dog Pepper.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you guys remember that one.
Yeah,
don't
that
remember.
they make
I
him
don't think I
eat
do.
the dog.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was
that.
in a
Oh, okay.
But
yeah,
I
he was in a
think
feud
I
with
think that was they were just trying to imitate South Park. You know the episode where Carmen make a guy eat his parents and things like that.
oh when he's having the chili competition in South
Yeah,
Park. Yeah,
yeah,
I
Oh.
remember. Yeah, it culminated in the infamous Kennel from Hell match
yeah.
where it was essentially a Hell in the Cell surrounded by dogs who were just shitting all over the floor and humping each other essentially.
But I think one of the greatest one is the Dominic ladder match. Just because
Oh
Dominic Mysterio right now is a big superstar, you know, in WWE,
Mm.
but him starting as a prop for a ladder match, I think that was great.
Oh,
yeah, the custody of Dominic ladder match, because
Yeah,
that's how parenthood is decided, isn't it, in wrestling
yeah,
in a ladder match.
yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Not through core, just in a wrestling ring. Yeah.
But yeah,
So
I think let's be honest, Rohit won from the story of
he
that belt.
definitely
Yeah,
won.
uh,
Yeah,
I mean
absolutely.
that's how it is with the DDT. Is wacky when at its
but
finest.
yeah, and I think there is a fine line between like weirdest and worst. Because if we
Yeah.
go with worst storyline, we can go with the Devil storyline in AEW that was, let's be honest, a little bit shit because they didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And let's hope they make something out of it in the next pay per view because they need to do something with Warlow. They need to do something with Adam Cole and that faction because right now they're struggling a little bit. They're
I
missing MJF.
mean, yeah. I mean, the only good thing that came out of it so far is Samoa Joe. But again,
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
holding my breath because I'd want him to have a long reign, at least like towards the end of the year, at least. But I don't see AEW doing that, which sucks in my opinion. But
Yeah, I put that question to our Facebook followers about is the undisputed kingdom dead in the water? And I would say most of the responses were yes, they are.
Yeah, at the moment.
Which is a shame.
That's why I like it a lot right now in the storyline, like with WWE, because the closer we get to WrestleMania, the more questions about the stories are emerging. Did you know that CM Punk is not in any show from here to WrestleMania? Just the last Raw before Mania.
Interesting.
And in the next 3 SmackDowns, you're going to have Cody Rhodes and The Rock appearing in the same show. So I think those little details are making a really interesting story for WWE in the moment, and you don't need to go with the big story to have a nice story and don't make it weird, you know. But if you're going to make it weird, please make it like the DDT Championship because it's the funniest shit ever.
Yeah, because that's a fun weird, isn't it? Like you said, most of these that we've discussed have just been really bad, really awful to watch. Like nobody wants to see that on their TV. But
I want to see a giant panda wrestle.
I'm surprised you haven't brought this up already, Alfonso. Andressa the giant panda.
Do you know the story about her husband?
We're about to get more wacky and ridiculous. Go on, Alfonso.
So Andressa the giant panda was fighting a girl, and then apparently the girl was making like faces and flirting with his husband that is also a giant panda. And then you have like a handicap match with both pandas against the girl, and it was the funniest shit ever. And I just want her to come to WWE and face Asuka in a match. That's my dream match. If you want to make me happy, let's have Andressa the Giant Panda against Asuka at WrestleMania. That's the main event.
It just shows that with wrestling, you can kind of come up with any storyline or any kind of match. Like Rohit, you mentioned the indie scene with like DDT Pro. Like I remember, like I don't know, 10 odd years ago when Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi were wrestling blow up dolls, things like that.
Just to let you know, that blow up doll is a champion in DDT.
Yeah,
has won the championship. Yeah, like 2 times.
It has, yeah.
There you go. You can come up with anything in the world of wrestling.
I mean,
that's why we love it. That's why we love it, because there is a little bit of everything for everyone.
It's true, and I think Kenny wrestled a kid, I think, as well at one point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean there are like the old school people like from the 80s and maybe 90s that would absolutely hate all of this stuff that we're talking about. They kind of makes a mockery of the business. But like Alfonso said, there's something there for everybody, isn't there, with wrestling?
Yeah.
You know something? I was very young when this happened. The Little People skirt with Hornswoggle in the DX. You know that one?
Oh, I vaguely remember that one. Yeah.
That I don't know why, but apparently Hornswoggle was living under the ring. He got in a fight against DX because he wanted to be part of DX. DX didn't want him to be part of DX. So Hornswoggle took them to court, but it didn't take them to court like normal court. They went to Little People's Court that was under the ring. It was like a little, I don't know, man. That for me, I was very young and I was very like, so for me, it was so funny. So funny right now. When you look at it again, it's like, no.
Yeah,
but
like
when I was very young, it was funny.
The mini rumble.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
Yeah, the mini rumble as well.
And they did the WLC match with.
But wait. The WLC match is one of the greatest TLC matches ever.
Do you know what, Alfonso? That match was actually really good.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But yeah, I think this is a nice little episode to talk about weird storylines, because after here is the road to WrestleMania, is the road to Revolution, and business is about to pick up.
Yes. Yeah, a bit of comic relief for today, but I think we're going to get serious in the next few weeks, aren't we? So, yeah, we will wrap it up for there, gentlemen. Rohit and Alfonso, thank you so much. Great wrestling stories you both brought to the table as well. Fantastic job, guys. Thank you as always.
No worries. Pleasure.
Ciao.
Ciao.
And yeah, everybody, don't forget to subscribe to One Stop Wrestling on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see everybody next time for another One Stop Wrestling podcast. Ciao, guys.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.